You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. So I can't play Laurel and Hardy because Hardy ain't here, so...
Impersonation of Arnold Horseshack.
Welcome back, Blake Vartanian, a.k.a. Arnold Horseshack, Realty Pro 100. Welcome.
Hi, thank you, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Always something great to celebrate in our wonderful nation. Plant a Flower Day today.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Working Moms Day. Anything I say there can get me in trouble, so I will move right along. National Girl Scout Day. You know, that's another one. Girl Scout Day. So I've beaten anorexia, so I'm constantly looking for Girl Scout cookies. I probably eat way too many. I probably eat more than my fair share, I guess is the best way of putting it. And thankfully, there's some nice Girl Scouts in the area that we've been able to connect with, and we're able to give away Girl Scout cookies. So we buy them, or sometimes we'll offer them through the radio program. And then we give them away to some of the organizations in the area that are of need. So always love dealing with the Girl Scouts, the Girl Scout cookies. A lot of fun there. And having beaten anorexia, being a food expert, and spending a lot of time. I don't know, last week, did you spend any time? Obviously, I did, with going to restaurants in the area. So last week was Restaurant Week, Orange County Restaurant Week. You know, and if there's a bargain to be had at going to a restaurant, you can bet that I was there. So I did indulge in a couple of them. We had a good time. Cedar Creek, I think, is the name of the one. And that's Cedar Creek in Brea.
On Lambert.
Yeah, that was a good one. We went to that one. We went to one of my favorites. So, you know, I don't know if I can call this one for Girl Scout for Restaurant Week. How'd I get to Restaurant Week? I don't know. I guess it must have been a rabbit trail that we were going down. So we did go to the Crack Shack. So we indulged at the Crack Shack as well for Restaurant Week. It's over now, so we can go back to Girl Scout cookies. Oh, I know where I was heading with this. Baked Scallops Day. Baked scallops, fried scallops, just about any way you can make a scallop. I like scallops. I'll move right along. Otherwise, I'll just sit here and drool.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 189 points right now. The S&P 500 is up 44. The NASDAQ is up 187. Oil is up 45 cents a barrel. Heard someone just saying oil is going to 90 a barrel. Not too excited with that news, but it is what it is. And today we got the CPI report. I'm going to talk about that more when we get to the Mortgage Minute in just a bit. But one of the things that I'm going to share with you over time now, especially as we go on and on, because yesterday, once again, we did get news that the Bureau of Labor Statistics abbreviated as BS. So they changed the way they're calculating the CPI numbers. Does that surprise anybody that they're changing these?
Surprise.
So one of the things I'm recommending is, hey, don't pay as much attention to some of these reports. Let your eyes tell you what's going on, because your eyes really can give you a real benefit. You don't need to listen to the president. You don't need to listen to the press. Yes, I know I'm part of the press. But we got the president's budget yesterday. So what does he want to do? He wants to tax more. But here's where a lot of our friends on the left miss it. And the media doesn't tell you this. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they don't like the narrative. But let me be the first to tell you, corporations do not pay taxes. So whenever you hear the president say we're going to raise taxes on corporations, they need to pay their fair share. Corporations do not pay taxes. They collect taxes. Who do they collect taxes from? You and me. So think about this. You got a local McDonald's owner. So they're franchises, they're small business owners. The local McDonald's franchise gets hit with a higher tax bill. What do? Well, it's not like the federal government. They can't print money. So they raise prices on you and me. We pay that bill. So it's when he says we're not going to raise taxes on anybody making under $400,000 a year, hogwash. If you're going to charge more at McDonald's because of your dumb policies, that's what happens. Try and ask the president or any of his comrades what it means to pay your fair share. Now, we heard that starting. That was a great line that President Obama came up with. And the Democrats have used it ever since. Pay your fair share. Ask them the question, okay, I'll pay my fair share. Can you tell me what that is? None of them will tell you. Now, you hear about inflation. The CPI report came out this morning. So let's talk about that, because during the State of the Union, we did hear about how great everything is since President Biden took office. So let's take a look. Rent, January 2021 through February 2024.
While you're doing that,
Up.
can I play the part of Mike Johnson sitting behind him?
Oh, yeah, rolling your eyes. Exactly. There you go.
Sorry, I had to.
No, that's perfect. Right? So we got rent, primary residence rent, up 20% since the president took office. Food away from home. You want to go out to eat? Again, this is according to the BS reports. January 2021 through February 2024, up 21%. Food at home, that's up 21% also. Chicken breasts, up 26%, according to the St. Louis Fed, 26%. Now, if you want to put it on a sandwich, well, the bread is up 30%. So think about these numbers. Sugar, obviously, if you see me, I enjoy sugar, up 44%. And boy, do I like butter, up 27%. So I'm just throwing these numbers out at you because don't pay attention as much to what you're hearing in the media, what you hear from the Bureau of Labor Statistics with their BS reports. Pay attention to your own eyes. They tell you that there's no unemployment or unemployment's not going up. Tell me this. Do you know anybody that's laid off? I've known a lot of people recently that have been laid off. So the issue here is all these numbers sound well and good. I just heard as I was coming into the office, the studio this morning, we are at the highest credit card default rate since 2011. Why do I tell you this? Do I want to be doom and gloom? No, I'm a consumer advocate looking out for you. Plan ahead. I've told you before, there's a lot of people with credit card problems, a lot of people with debt problems. We've got a solution. But I can't call you. You got to call me, 800-306-1990. Whether you have a house, we got a solution. You use equity there. We can look into it. Or if you have no equity or don't want to use your home equity, there are solutions there as well. But again, you got to make that call, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. When we come back, we're going to chat with Blake Vartanian. Why are mortgage rates irrelevant to 25 to 30% of buyers? Really? What mortgage rate do you need to move? We'll talk about that and more. Reach me anytime Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, they have the Home Select program, proprietary program to Geneva Financial. Again, always looking at this, and it's amazing how we can still be looking at interest rates, effective APR 2 and 3% on 30-year loans using the Home Select product. If you want more information on it, rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or APR. They just tell us the raw, hard, locked rate. And again, it's across 35% of the mortgage transactions. Yesterday's numbers, March 11th, I'm recording on the 12th. 30-year conforming loans down a little bit, 6.70. Jumbo loans down a little bit, 6.955. FHA loans down a little bit, 6.51. USDA loans down a little bit, 6.549. That's the rural areas. Generally no down payment. Hello, Yucca Valley. Are you listening? And the best loan on the market, unfortunately, it was up yesterday's 30-year VA loan, 6.363. Those are the rates from yesterday. If you want our commentary as early as the data allows, we do put that out each morning rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. Let's see what's going on today. Real-time data. The S&P 500 is now up 44 points. The 10-year Treasury up 5 basis points, 4.15. Mortgage-backed securities are down 12 basis points. The bond is down. That means interest rates are up a little bit. Why? Well, it's the CPI report coming out, delivered from BS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. February Consumer Price Index report showed that overall inflation rose 0.44% for the month, which was in line with estimates. Year over year, inflation increased from 3.1 to 3.2, which was hotter than the unchanged level of 3.1% expected. Core rate for those that do not eat and do not need energy increased by 0.36%, which is hotter than expected. Year over year, core CPI decreased from 3.9 to 3.8, but it was expected to decrease to 3.7. Seeing progress on core inflation, but it's far too slow for what the Fed wants to see. Following the report, odds of a June rate cut moved down to 52%, at least according to market estimates. Energy prices rose 2.3%, with gasoline up 3.8%. We've been talking about that one. Hurt the headline. Used car prices rose 0.5%, which doesn't make sense because readings from Manheim and Car Gurus were both negative for the same period. Manheim, Car Guru, those are both real data with real people. And then we got the BS report. Okay, so now we understand that one a little bit better. Let's see, where was I here? Other items added to core inflation: apparel, which appears to be an anomaly, education and communication services, airline fares, motor vehicle insurance. So here's the issue. What's the Fed going to do? Because if inflation continues, if you got auto insurance going up, home insurance going up, do you think it matters if the Fed increases or decreases the interest rates? They can't control those. So it doesn't matter either way. Now, again, let's go back out to real people, real time. NFIB, Small Business Optimism Index, dipped again from 89.9 to 89.4, the lowest level in 9 months. It's now not far off its lowest level since 2013. For perspective, the 50-year average is 98. 98, and we're at 89.4. Much of the weakness came from the labor market. Plans to hire fell another 2 points to 12%, lowest level since 2016. When you strip out COVID, job openings shrunk to the lowest since January 2021. Compensation, both current and future, also fell and shows signs of lower wage-pressured inflation. Clearly, small businesses are struggling on the labor front, and this lines up, here we go again, with ADP, which only showed 13,000 small business jobs created in the report. And again, it uses actual data. This is in contrast to the BS report, which imputed data, things like birth-death ratio, small business. They added 150,000 jobs to their headline number. So let's see. ADP, they write the paycheck, 13,000. BS, they don't do anything. It's a government agency.
And the government is the biggest employer, raising the number of people hired by a dramatic number when you look over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. So the BS report, they added 150,000 jobs to the small business numbers. That's why you can't believe the data. Watch your own eyes. Don't pay attention to some of these numbers that are coming out in the markets. Again, and if you missed our broadcast with Blake last month, he gave us a great way of understanding a buyer's market and a seller's market in real estate. That's real-time, real street information, not the stuff that comes out in the markets. Again, that's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And the aforementioned Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100, is with us this morning. He's been in real estate since the Indians got to America. That's even before the colonies were established.
I crossed the Bering Strait with the original indigenous people,
okay,
the Eskimos up in Alaska.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, what do you see in the market right now?
Well, obviously the inventory is exceptionally tight relative to historical numbers. And,
sure.
They're actually kind of hysterical numbers in the fact that they
Hysterical or historical?
Well, they're
both.
historically they're
Historically
historically
hysterical.
hysterical because if you had imagined any time in your last 40 years that in a county of 3 million plus people that you'd only have 1,900 and let's say 79 to 92 properties active on the MLS for all of the cities in Orange County, you would have probably laughed me out of the building and said there's no way that will ever happen, and no way you would ever build projections around that number being approximately 20% of a balanced market, meaning where the number of days on the market you could completely sell all the inventory out would typically be, that balanced market would be a good 45 days on the market. Is it still a very hot 70 days on the market? Still a hot market. It's unimaginable that this length of time would go by with people sitting in, and I sometimes reference the house and the equivalent of the early days of man in their caves, saying this is where I want to make my final stand, and I'm not going to move up, move out, leave. But I always go back to the beginning of when I really started thinking about how do you build better relationships with clients. It's about not just being transactional. It's about helping them build wealth.
That's a key thing. And we've got a chart. I get a lot of charts sent to me, and this one comes from Real Data Solutions. I love some of their information. Real Data Strategy. Sorry, I better get the name of the company right. Otherwise, they won't send it to me anymore. But we're looking at 2021. There was, it looks like, new homes on the market, 2,038, June of 2021. And if we look at this chart, it's under 1,500 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a significant deficiency for the amount. And you think about it, during the pandemic, we were adding people.
Yes.
Because we didn't have anything else to do. So now there's a family show, so we're not going to explain that to anybody. So the idea here is, you get more people. You had household formations at 1.9 million every year, and we're not adding any housing, and people aren't selling their houses.
Yeah,
so want to move.
Yeah, so what's happening is the number of people who own their homes without a mortgage is rising dramatically. It's risen 56% in the 8 cities I just measured from 2017 to 2020, the start of 2020.
Why is that important?
Well, because you have all of this trapped equity where the question I always ask anyone in a consultation is, based on your lifestyle, if you want to retire at 65 and maintain your current lifestyle, and your income goes away, and now you're just looking at Social Security plus maybe a 401k. A lot of people believe that their $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 in their 401k plus their equity in their house is going to give them a clear shot at retirement. But the reality is most of them will run out of money in the next 10 to 15 years at the point at which they have no ability to earn any income. And the only way they can
back to Walmart as a happy greeter.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate situation,
right?
Because the question that got in my mind that started it was, why are so many people I know who, when they retire, they have to leave Southern California? Why do they go to someplace cheaper to live? Because if you're already living in the idyllic place you want to be your whole life, and then all of a sudden in your formidable years you have to leave and go live somewhere else where you don't know anyone, and you're starting over again at age 65 or 70, that doesn't seem like the ideal exit strategy from the employing years. Do you think they're doing it because they want to, or do you think they're doing it because
no one they want to be with their kids?
And that could be it too, but people haven't been shown the
alternative. Nothing to do with California policy, though.
Well, there is a lot of that. I'm not going to say that, when you look and you see that the cost of California is, 40 to 50% higher, and then you see some of the silly things that our government leaders do. The one that I said I would die on, that would be the hill that I die on, is that if they put, regulators on our cars and tell us we can't drive more than 10 miles an hour, which was a bill I saw going through the assembly.
Right.
I said, hey, I'll go get a car that doesn't have electronic programming. And you're not going to
find that anymore.
I don't. I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be a high demand for cars that are pre-computer the 1960s and 1970s cars that you could put a nice set of gears in the back and overdrive in it, and you could drive, over 100 if you wanted to. No, I mean, not that I recommend it, but
we don't want to tell anybody.
Not
to do
that I've ever done that, but
but you look at gas prices at $4.87 here versus Arian, my loan assistant, at $2.94.
Yeah.
Right. So crazy stuff.
And
you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We'll be back with Blake Vartanian in just a minute. We're going to talk more about why is selling in today's market the best option versus waiting. We'll talk about that. What happens when the market shifts? Again, why are mortgage rates irrelevant to all these people? All that and more. Reach me anytime off air. Number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. What mortgage rate do you need to move? You've been thinking about buying a home. Mortgage rates are probably top of mind for you. They may even be why you've put your plans on hold for now. When rates climbed near 8% last year, some buyers found the numbers just did not make sense for their budget anymore. That may be the case for you too. Data from Bright MLS shows the top reason buyers delayed their plans to move is due to high mortgage rates. Does that surprise anyone? If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing a chart. Top 3 reasons buyers paused the decision. Mortgage rates, 72.1% of the time. Inventory, 34.4%. Affordability, 17.4%. David Childers, CEO of Keeping Current Matters, speaks to this statistic in the recent How's the Market podcast. Quote, 3/4 of buyers said, we're out due to mortgage rate. Here's what I know going forward. That's going to change in 2024, unquote. That's because mortgage rates have come down off their peak last October. And while there's still day-to-day volatility in rates, the longer-term projections show rates should continue to drop this year. As long as inflation gets under control, experts say even say we could see rates below 6% by the end of 2024. And that threshold would be a game changer for a lot of buyers. As a recent article from Realtor.com says, quote, buying a home is still desired and sought after, but many people are looking for mortgage rates to come down in order to achieve it. 4 out of 10 Americans looking to buy a home in the next 12 months would consider it possible if rates were down below 6%. While mortgage rates are nearly impossible to forecast, the optimism from the experts should give you insight into what's ahead. If your plans were delayed, there's light at the end of the tunnel again. That means it may be time to start thinking about your move. The best question you can ask yourself right now is this: what number do I want to see rates hit before I'm ready to move? The exact percentage where you feel comfortable kicking off your search again is personal. Maybe it's 6.5%. Maybe it's 6.25%. Maybe it's once they drop below 6. Once you've had that number in mind, here's what you can do. Give a call to a local real estate professional. Call me at 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with one anywhere in the sound of my voice. And I know that we are on the World Wide Web, so I know there's people listening all over the place. So that's might be good for you. Bottom line, if you've put your plans to move on hold because of where mortgage rates are, think about the number you want to see rates hit that would make you ready to re-enter the market. Once you have that number in mind, give me a call. Again, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And again, from Real Data Strategies, I've got this chart right here in front of me. It's 30-year mortgage rates. And, you look at them, and right now they're in the 6 range. And, everybody's numbers are unique to them. But, Orange County averaged, 2.7 during the pandemic. They've gone up significantly, but, so have property values. So maybe that's a big benefit to you as well. So if you have questions about that, again, if you want to know property values in your neighborhood, rsrlistana.com, rsrlistana.com. That'll bring you up to the property values in your neighborhood, or that starts out with Anaheim. You put your zip code in, and it'll give you what the numbers are going on exactly in your zip code. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation. Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100. We're chatting about the market. And we started talking a little bit, and then we got sidetracked. Happens to me sometimes. I've got these rabbits that go through here, and there's rabbits, squirrels, something like that. I don't even get that analogy straight. But we've been talking about, why are mortgage rates irrelevant? 25 to 30% of the people. So you were saying about, Blake, that there's a good number of them just don't have a mortgage.
So about 25 to 35% of each zip code in Orange County, as an example, the properties are owned free and clear without a mortgage. And so those people can sell their property, move rather quickly, and close depending on what they're trying to buy, they could close with no mortgage or a very small mortgage, whether they're right sizing, whether they're moving up, maybe they're moving out. I talked to our escrow officer the other day, and she said she could do most cash deals in 2 or 3 days, depending on the underlying situation, as long as there's not an association.
To deal with the association or waiting for title or some of those other
some of the other things, but certainly the parties have the ability. And when I think back on, in 1979, my brother and I bought our first house, so it was a long time ago. But we partnered up because interest rates were 11.1%.
Buy it from Fred Flintstone. Just throw that out there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the deed was on stone, on a slate rock.
Exactly.
But the from that 1979 to 1981, interest rates went from about 11% to well past 18%. And we still appreciated. We sold that property in 1983, 4.5 years after we bought it. We paid $67,000. We sold it for $93,000. And I realize those are the gross numbers, but we managed about a 38% return on our investment, but it was really, we only put 10% down, so our investment return was actually on
return on cash
was a 380% return on our actual cash.
Sure.
And so what I'm saying is that even though the properties continue to appreciate, the example, we just sold a property in Anaheim Hills that closed last week, came on the market at 1.699.
Okay.
There were 150 parties or so through the first open house reported to me over the first premiere weekend, and it closed at 1.9 million. And
wow.
That was a property at the start of my career. I would have sold it under 200,000, and I would have been.
Wait, I got to push back on that a little, Blake. I'm going to push back on you.
Yeah.
That area wasn't even there when you started your career.
Well, that's probably true. That's probably, I think, yeah, that would be fair.
Just throw that out there, yeah.
No, it was built in the late 70s.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, but you
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the equivalent home. The real issue for most people.
Well, the median days on market in that zip code is 7.
Yeah.
And there's a whopping 19 single family homes there.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no inventory, which goes back to what we talked about, is when there's not a lot of inventory, might be a good time to sell.
Well, I think it's the ideal time because what's going to happen is, when interest rates return to a lower number, that's going to bring many more people in to the market. And I would say it's more difficult, when you're standing there looking to, purchase a home, do you want to be competing with 25 or 30 other offers? And so we went through that in 2021, 2022, at the start of 2020, 2021, 2022, where people were lined up waiting outside the homes to see them during COVID. And then we ended up with, offers that were driving up the cost because the what they were saving on the interest, they were looking at their total payment. They could afford to pay more.
Sure.
So that brought more people out into the market because of the attraction of the lower rate. But I look at, if you're making the money, you really have to decide when that house comes on the market, if it really is that important for you to be in that neighborhood and that property comes on the market and you wait, everything that's tied to your life and your dreams and your ambitions also gets held up and is waiting.
100%. And if you've got a lot of equity in your current property, which if you've owned it more than 2 years, you've got a good amount of equity.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe you can actually take some of that equity and not use it as the down payment, but use it to buy down the interest rate.
Yes.
Now, you got to look at all sides of that, because do you want to buy down the interest rate in an environment like this, where we expected interest rates will drop if we get into the recession that many people think we will, or is that not the best idea? Is it better for you to stretch a little bit right now and go, maybe keep that cash on the sideline, and when you restructure, then buy down the rate?
Well, and I always look at the people who are forecasting. There's never a price they pay for missing the forecast. Right. So if they're wrong,
that Jim Doty
put your life on hold, now you're stuck.
Exactly.
So if you have the ability to move now and you can afford it, you really need to look at look at it from both points of view. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit more. It may not be forever that it'll cost you more, but in reality, if real estate is appreciating, how many asset classes have appreciated consistently, with the exception of 1 or 2 years over a period of 60 years? And real estate is one of them.
Well, I actually shared a chart, Blake. I don't know if you've seen this one, but it goes back to, I think, 1940 something.
Well, you talk about old.
Yeah, it's an old chart. And it looks at real estate for every 10 years hence.
Yes.
So 1940 to 1950, 1941 to 1951, and so forth. The only year that in a 10-year period, if I'm doing it off the top of my head, I think it was 2006 was the only year that it wasn't a positive return on a 10-year hold. So real estate's a great asset class to have.
Absolutely. And we always recommend people have a diversified portfolio.
Sure.
I just look at if you own a $2 million house and you're sitting on $2 million worth of equity, my question is that really your best decision? I'm
going to say it's high risk.
I agree with you.
I say high risk, and I've talked about this many times. And I'm going to say home equity in general is high risk. We're going to talk more with Blake when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@ronsiegelradio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Would you like to be debt-free? A lot of people say it. Not a lot of people take advantage or take action. The question is, which camp do you fall in? If you have home equity, look at what the household blended interest rate is. Maybe it'll make sense for you to do a debt consolidation loan. No home equity, or you're dead set against using that? Well, there's other solutions as well. Our friend Chris Corrales, he's got a program out there. Almost always within 5 years, they can get you totally out of debt, save a lot of money. You know, I'm not a fan of going against, you know, if you get involved and get into debt, pay your bill. But, you know, 29% interest rates from some of these credit card companies, maybe there's an issue there. Chris can help you maybe negotiate that down a little and still pay that bill that you owe. That is the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Continue our conversation with Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100. We were talking before, high risk. Home equity, in my opinion, is extremely high risk. And I'll tell you from a lender's side that I'm going to ask Blake to share his perspective as well. But from a lender's side, lenders do not lend money to people who need money. Don't, if you lose your job, go and try and get a loan. Doesn't happen. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, try and refinance. Doesn't happen. If you don't need money and you want money, then there's plenty of money out there. So if you've got a house that's free and clear and you fall off the curb and you can't go to work for the next year, or, you know, you go play 4 plays at the NFL like Aaron Rodgers did, and then you're off for a year. If you don't have his contract, well, the issue is you're not going to have income. Try and get a loan there. Yeah, you got a lot of equity in your house. Blake talked about in the last segment. So you got $2 million in equity that you can't touch unless you sell it. Is that what you want to do? Give me your ideas, Blake, on the idea there of home equity. Risky, not risky, diversification?
Well, I've always, I mean, there's a reason they call it debt equity. I mean, you know, if you're looking to be comfortable in your retirement, the typical person living in Orange County who has $15,000 to $17,000 a month worth of overhead, which for a family of 4 to 6 people is not an unreasonable number. By the time you pay for the cars, you pay for the private education, all the things you're paying for. By the time, you know, if your lifestyle's in the $200,000 a year range, now you retire and you're going to live on, let's say, $36,000 a year on Social Security. Maybe you have your 401k. Now you're thinking, okay, I've got my real estate. Now what are you going to do? Sell your house, and then your $2 million house will last you approximately 8 years before you start running really low on cash.
You're in trouble.
So now you're in your mid 70s and you're going, now what? And so when I do the presentation, which I'm willing to do for anyone without obligation, is that we talk about in general what it looks like, and then we can get into specifics. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not giving financial advice. I'm giving real estate advice about your retirement and what that could mean to you, so you can have the comfortable life you want to have. The average person ends up with a need of about $8 to $10 million in total asset valuation that is eventually going to be paid down to zero by tenants or whatever process they want to utilize in order to retire comfortably in Orange County, Southern California. Now, you know, when you look at the average home cost at $1.3 million, you turn around, you sell your nice $2 million house. What are you going to do with that money? That's up to you. You know, and I'm not here to advocate that there's only one way to do this. I'm just saying is you got to have a plan, and a lot of people don't have the plan.
Right.
And you've got to have it early enough in life where it can actually make a difference. I will tell you, I got off my own plan because in the 1980s, I was already owning I had 11 properties. I had a car collection. And then I decided I wanted to be a real estate operator and build big real estate companies. And there's a difference between investing in people versus investing in yourself. So when you're owning a real estate company, you put the money into the business to support your real estate agents so that they can make a living and that you can advocate for the real estate profession. There are a lot of investors out there who are smarter than me because in their mind, because they went out and they only bought real estate. They never got their license, and they're just an investor buying and selling, flipping houses on their own account. So they don't need a license. But my life is filled in ways joy and happiness, knowing that lots and lots of real estate agents have taken the ideas and strategies that we've collaborated on. I'm not saying I invented them, but we collaborated on through the years, and we've helped thousands of people out across Southern California gain wealth, which they would never have gotten if we had just kept those ideas to ourselves.
Absolutely. So I want to get into one other topic, Blake, and we don't know none of us have a crystal ball.
No.
Right? There's no guarantees, but we constantly look at history to guide us. So history says we're probably heading into a recession.
Absolutely.
In a recession, real estate values generally go up, mortgage rates generally go down. But you have to throw in one more wrench into this, and not getting political, but what do elections bring for real estate?
So typically, I just did an article the other day that I wrote a blog, and I said in every election year, except for 2008, since 1980, real estate valuations have gone up and the demand for housing has increased.
Wow.
Versus the previous year.
And you're talking about general presidential elections.
Presidential elections, the
Okay.
4-year cycle.
Okay.
So whether it's a function of political decisions, whether it's a function of like right now the administration is promoting lower mortgage rates for first-time home buyers. If you
Right.
go on all the side, everyone's talking about it, and I'm looking at it and going, okay, so you're going to give someone who needs to buy a $700,000 house in Southern California or a condo a $10,000 tax break and lower their mortgage payment $400 for the first 2 years. Why not just buy down the rate right up front?
Sure.
Why not? The government is the end user of the end buyer of most of these mortgages,
especially for first-time home buyers.
Right, FHAs and
FHA,
they
Fannie
play
Mae,
such
Freddie
a
Mac.
huge role. They could do it right there. They could just say, you know what, we're going to lower the rate for everyone. Why just first-time home buyers? We're gonna because there's
that
all
would
kinds.
sure draw a lot of ire from people if they went and artificially lowered rates like that.
No, but what I'm saying is they're controlling in their
No,
policy.
you're right.
The
Sure.
Fed is controlling the policy that's causing all this.
Absolutely.
So it's the federal, one arm of the federal government pits itself against the other, and then the other arm of the federal government.
And then they
But
say
it's
they're
all
not
the
going to
federal
talk to
government.
each other.
Yeah, and they're not going to talk to each other.
Right, you
So
listen
we
to-
just got licensed in Nevada, and California and Nevada don't talk to each other.
So if you look
So-
at the Chairman Powell's testimony last week,
Oh.
he basically says, well, we don't comment on fiscal policy.
History will show this guy is one of the biggest blunders in the history. Him and Greenspan did more to damage the housing market than any two federal chairmans in history. And I'll go to my grave being able to explain why, but there's not enough time in this radio show. To have it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of us have that feeling. And I know I've got some friends of mine that are around the country who differ, but hey, you know something? We respectfully debate.
That's what it's all about.
Right. Keyword there, respectfully debate.
Oh, Ron, there are people from the government here to take us away.
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, that's why we keep the office door locked. That's all the time.
We'll be protected.
Yeah, so historically, we're going to see, as far as real estate values, we should be in the next 8 months, being that we're in a long election cycle this year. We should see real estate values appreciate.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll see some interest rate benefits. The idea, and I know Josh already gave me the 1-minute warning, so we're in trouble here because I wanted to ask you one other question.
Okay.
With no inventory available, what value is there in giving a incentive to a buyer?
Well, I think if rates come down, more of those people might decide to unlock their equity and go and purchase something.
Okay.
I also believe that it's up to the real estate profession to advocate to the people who own their properties with all that equity to show them what to do. And one at a time, people will make those decisions, whether it's in their best interest to move now or not move now.
Gotcha.
And I think for some of them, there's fear that they can't, the fear of missing out, that they won't be able to replace their property. They think if they sell their house, they won't be able to have the time to find a new one. And they're not sure what to do next. And there are a lot of agents out there that are just transactional. They're not thinking, how do I help these people build a long-term strategy? Yeah.
Sure.
And so it's an educational process, and it takes a little time, but it's worth the investment.
There you got it. There you go. You've got it from the man who's been doing real estate for more time than many of us are old. And
I appreciate anyone who's still willing to listen to me. Thank you so much.
There you go. And I appreciate you coming in and sharing with us.
Yeah.
And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Jim, I missed you.